Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, we got a thumbs up on the top. And bottom, thumbs up. Okay, WD, everyone is all ready. So everybody, we're gonna start the last round of round one matches. Game number 1 starts in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Same piece sets have been confirmed. Already a spin there by Barrett. And there's a Tetris for WDSubia. Rev having a few pushdown points, so has a 75 points lead. And now they're virtually tied, almost tied. And there's a little bit of a hang there on the tee for WDSubia, but it's going to do his best to try to get this board situated, taking some of the burns, get the well back. Barrett's board's already kind of up there, while aGameScout's board is nice and clean. How is Barrett going to get out of the situation? He is down stacking. Will he be able to get out of this? Okay, it looks like he will be. He is getting the right pieces. Nice burn. One more burn to open up column 3 for him. Oh, early top out on the bottom. I was trying to look at Barrett's cleanup, and it looks like there was an early top out for WDSubia. So game number 1 goes to Rev. Are we ready in the bottom? Yes? Okay, so let's go ahead and start game number 2 for them in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. The pushdown points for Rev, getting those little pushdown points as he can. Now aGameScout's a little bit of a situation, but easily resolves it with those burns. And then set up for a Tetris. Barrett blocks the well the moment the long bar shows. Story of my life. So let's see if we could get out of this.
My phone is over there. It's over there. It's like not streaming. Oh yeah, it keeps turning off and on. Oh really? You have to like reboot it or anything? No, I just my data was on Washington last week.
Where'd you go, James?
We're recording.
You were just here. You go back to sleep.
Okay, on the top, it looks like aGameScout is about 3.5 Tetrises in the lead. And we're about to reach halfway towards transition. Barrett's board has a little bit of some situations. Gonna need to continue some burning to get his board situated before transition, which they are about halfway there. WDSubia gets a Tetris. About half a Tetris in the lead now. Rev setting is set up for a Tetris, waiting for the long bar. There it is, and there's a Tetris. Neck and neck game on the top. They're going to just be alternating leads from there. There's a long bar, there's a Tetris for Rev, taking about, again, a very neck and neck game on the bottom. Barrett's board needs a few more burns to try to get out of that situation. Probably he's going to set up for maybe something dirty. No, going to go ahead and take a double, a burn and a triple. They are experiencing a bit of a drought now. Let's see how they handle it. So there was a 15-piece drought. None of them were able to use the long bar for a Tetris. But the next long bar, Scout was able to get a Tetris as well. So Scout taking this dominant 4, about roughly 5 Tetris lead now against Barrett. Yeah, 269,000 points for aGameScout, 161,000 points for Barrett. And the bottom, we have 249,000 points for Rev and 220,000 points for WDSubia. Rev is taking the lead by about a Tetris and change. William is going to need to step up the game in order to try to catch up with Rev here. They are about in the same line count. Oh, both boards for Scouts, and Barrett is really getting up there. Oh no, there's a hang there for Barrett. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out there, but it gets a dirty Tetris to bring the board down. Okay, that's the kind of Tetris he needed to try to situate his board. Scout's also getting out of his situation as well, but this is just causing Barrett to slowly catch up to about less than 3 Tetrises. Barrett takes a nice triple, bringing it on over. There was another drought there above them, so there's a massive amount of droughts here in this seed right here that they're playing. And the bottom, William is now clean and sets up for a Tetris. Same thing for Rev. Again, very neck and neck game down in the bottom. They're about to reach the 100 line mark. Barrett and Scout, they're about to reach level 19 in roughly 10 more lines. Okay, Scout taking a triple. Okay, needs to bring the board down because transition is approaching. Transition for Barrett at 286. And Scout's about to transition at 329. Scout's still in the lead, but Barrett can try to slowly catch up because he is a hyper tapper. He has more wiggle room here in the level 19 speeds versus a GameScout's dash technique, which is very limited here. But he is setting efficiently and getting those Tetrises. 358,000 points for GameScout, 315,000 points for Barrett. In the bottom, we're about to reach transition soon because they have hit the 100 line mark. Rev is ahead in lines by about four lines just because of the push down that he's been doing earlier in level 18. Nice burner to open up the wall, waiting now for a long bar. Will Rev get a long bar? Because right now he was experiencing a drought, gets the long bar, gets a Tetris. Now it's time to see how WDSubia deals with this drought himself. Because there was a drought that Rev was experiencing, and because he was pushing down, that lets Subia know that there is a drought coming. In the top, 378,000 points for GameScout, 358,000 points for Barrett. Barrett slowly closing in the lead, about less than a Tetris now in the lead. Sorry, behind. Multiple dependencies there for GameScout, for Barrett, trying to bring this board down while GameScout's board is nice and clean. Nice burn there, nice split burn there. Almost set up to be Tetris ready. Needs something for the, okay, takes a safety triple. Barrett's board is just climbing higher and higher. Hangs a piece. Oh, that might just be GG's for Barrett, and GameScout takes game number 1. GG's up there. Transition already in the bottom, about 500K transition for Rev. Okay, if they're ready on the top, quick thumbs up, and then we'll go ahead and count them down. But in the bottom, very close game right now. Another drought the Rev is experiencing. And it looks like they're ready, so let's go ahead and count down on the top in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Okay, in the bottom, Rev is really dealing really good with these drought right now, but there's some multiple hangs there for WDSubia. He's going to need to score some Tetris. Oh no, but there's a hang there, a little bit of a spire there for Rev. Can Rev get out of this situation? He is down stacking it really well. Oh no, there's WDSubia fails the 5-tapper. He's not able to get the long bar over and tops out at 573. So Rev at 628 takes game number 2 and is at match point. WDSubia needs to win all 3 games to move on to the next round. This is showing us the power that sometimes the basic playstyles of DAS is not dead and can still play against like top rollers. Okay, when they get their seeds, we'll go ahead and get ready to start the bottom once they're seated up and ready to go. Match point again in the bottom. Game 2 already on top. And do we have seeds verified? Yes, we do. We got a thumbs up. So game number 2, game number 3, match point for Rev. WDSubia needs to win all 3 games. So game number 3, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And in the top right now, Scout dealing with a massive drought right now. I don't know if he's able to get out of this, but the drought is still climbing. Oh, okay, finally gets the long bar. Now let's see how Barrett deals with this drought himself. How is he going to get out of it? There you go. They faced a 24-piece drought, and it looks like Barrett was able to get out of it. Of course, with how intense our games are, it's really crashing this stream because Barrett is stuck at that 24-piece drought counter, even though we know he's not stuck there. We'll do a quick refresh after the next set of games, but that's fine. All we got to see is just the score here. 112,000 points for aGameScout, 153,000 points for Barrett. Barrett winning by about 2 Tetrises.
14-4. Station 4, let's have K1 Shadow and
WDSubia's tournament life on the line. So wonder how much of his gameplay is going to be changing, because right now he is experiencing a bit of a drought and got out of it. He is in the lead by about 1,000 points. So very neck and neck game, and down in the bottom. On the top, aGameScout in the slight lead. Also very neck and neck game on the top. Actually, all games here is neck and neck.
Station 6, 6.
aGameScout taking the burn, the long bar show, so he was not able to utilize it for a Tetris, but uses it to help open up the wall on the right. There's a long bar for aGameScout and a Tetris. aGameScout behind roughly about 2 Tetrises now. 215,000 points for aGameScout, 257,000 points for Barrett. In the bottom, we have 116,000 points for Rev, 155,000 points for WDSubia. WDSubia is winning by about 2 Tetrises now. Roughly 2 Tetrises. Over 2 Tetrises now with that Tetris, but it looks like both of them are using the long bar for the Tetrises for themselves. The board on Rev's side is more flat, which is more accommodating than WDSubia's board. Is a little bit dependent. Might be setting up for a center wall here, center wall dirty, but goes ahead and just takes a triple because another drought is happening there for WDSubia, but it looks like he's able to get out of it. Rev is trying to get out of this situation, waiting for a long bar now. It's set up to be Tetris ready. There's a long bar, there's a Tetris. 288,000 points for aGameScout. aGameScout has a dependency in column 2, but blocks it with a J. Now he's going to have to do some burning to try to get the board situated. We are about to reach the 100 line mark on the top, so transition will be approaching very soon. aGameScout looks like he's going to go ahead and try to get the board situated, so before transition happens, Barrett this while has taken about a Tetris lead now. Still not set up to be Tetris ready, waiting for a long bar, trying to get himself Tetris ready. Now there's a long bar, there's a Tetris for Barrett. 320,000 points for aGameScout, 361,000 points for Barrett. On the bottom, very neck and neck game still. 220,000 points for Rev and 244,000 points for WDSubia. WDSubia is winning by about 2 Tetrises. This is the kind of lead he really wants right now to make sure that he's going to not be eliminated in this round, because tournament life is on the line for WDSubia. Oh, a little bit of a Z hang there for Barrett. I don't know if Barrett's able to get out of this, but transition is about to approach soon. aGameScout's about 10 more lines to transition. His board is nice and clean now, and his Tetris ready, waiting now for a long bar. There's a long bar, there's a Tetris. Takes the lead now, 398,000 points to Barrett's 392. Oh, Barrett's board is not looking kind of good right now, but there's a long bar to bring some kind of relief for those split double burn. Few more thousand. Barrett slowly catching up. 423,000 transition there for aGameScout. Oh no, WDSubia's board is about to top out. No, he's not able to take the lead there, and now is eliminated. And Rev takes the sweep. Rev will move on to the next round. GG's to Rev. And then the top transition, we have level 19 speeds here. 457,000 points for aGameScout and 415,000 points for Barrett. aGameScout is about winning about a little over about 2 Tetrises now. Taking some of these burns. Will aGameScout get a Tetris here? Barrett with a double well, takes some of those burns, necessary burns, but now goes ahead and just takes a triple. Did not want to set up because the board is getting pretty high for him. Okay, so, oh no, aGameScout's board is starting. Oh no, gets a Tetris. This could be salvageable if he does a lot of flat burns. Nice pieces there. Nice long bar flat. I think he's actually going to get out of this. Takes the burn. Oh, gets the pieces over to the left. Getting down here. Oh my god, he's about to downstack out of the situation. Takes more burns. With this, it looks like Barrett was not able to capitalize on this that much because he's still in the score lead. Oh no. A little bit of a shift there for the, hangs the, I don't know if that's, GG's right now. Oh. And GameScout tops out at 515, so Barrett just needs one more Tetris to catch up. He could line this out. 9,000 more points for Barrett. Few more burns will do it, and that single, he wins by 40 points, and this is a little bit of a mullen there. So game number 2 goes to Barrett. GG's. And let the game catch up.
Hey, everybody in chat saying Nadia is way too loud.
Nadia? Yeah.
Did you already lower it?
I don't have the chat with me, so yeah, they lowered it. Let me know.
Yeah, because like Vandy and Sharky are like, oh, it's too loud. It's in the red.
It
all
is?
good now, right?
Okay. Yeah, it should be good. Let me know if it gets too loud because I can't see the chat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because even when I was listening to it, because I just ate right now, it was like,
Oh, okay.
it's really loud.
Okay, so the game 2 in the two-player scene has finally caught up. So now it looks like they're ready for game number 2. Sorry, 3. Man, I'm losing count here. So game number 3 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So now they are 1-1. There is no sweep that's going to be happening here in this round between GameScout and Barrett. Tetris for GameScout. Barrett not able to utilize that long bar for a Tetris. And now just getting some unlikely O's. Okay, there's a long bar, there's a Tetris for GameScout. Winning by about 2 Tetrises in the lead right now. This is very early on in the game. Very neck and neck game early on here. Oh, there's I'm not sure if that was an intentional hang there by a GameScout. Probably trying not to build any dependency in the middle. But is setting up for a dusty Tetris down the middle. Only if he could get the long bar. Does get the long bar, but blocks it the moment the long bar shows. Probably trying to take the burn because he didn't want to risk the long bar not showing up. That is the brutality of classic Tetris because of these pure RNG. You just never know when you're going to get that long bar. And with that, because Barrett has now taken the lead by roughly 1.5 Tetrises now. And make that 2.5 with that Tetris. And while GameScout's still trying to get Tetris ready, has a long bar dependency in column 7. Sorry, column 8. And is actually set up for a column 8 Tetris. Will the long bar show? And the answer is yes. Tetris for GameScout. 133,000 points for a GameScout. 190,000 points for Barrett. Barrett is now set up to be Tetris ready and gets a Tetris. GameScout gets a long bar and Tetris. They're both about in the same piece sequences now. And there's a Tetris for Barrett, taking about a 3.5 Tetris lead. 235,000 points for Barrett. 157,000 points for a GameScout. And if you're wondering that name GameScout, he does make a lot of classic Tetris videos in YouTube. So for anyone who's ever curious about the world of Tetris, feel free to watch all of his YouTube channels because they have really good information, all the events usually they talk about. And yeah. Ooh, okay, GameScout was dealing with a drought. Kind of a scary board, but can get it down if he gets the right specific pieces. Needs a Z there, but goes ahead and just fills it up with a J. Oh no, an early shift. I don't know if he's going to be able to get anything in the left. An O would be perfect if it shows. Where is it? doesn't show, and early tops out at 192. So Barrett at 333,000 points takes game number 2. So now Barrett is on match points. GameScout's going to need to win both of his games in order to move on to the next round. So once they are ready, once I see a thumbs up on screen, we can go ahead and move on. I see a thumbs up, so let's go ahead and start game number 4 for both of them. Starting in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And we start off with a Z, meaning that you're gonna need to tuck a piece in there, and it was a T. So, we got some slight simul stacking there from the start, but already diverging after some sets of pieces. Early drought, but able to handle it. Scout takes a little bit of a safety burn into a Tetris. Okay, tied game, roughly tied, but GameScout does do some push down points, so now it has a 26-point lead. Okay, there's an LJ dependency in the in there for a GameScout. Oh, but fills it with neither, and now is a very dependent board. Both of them are kind of in trouble right now. Oh, well, the pieces come for Barrett. There you go. Nice burn there for Barrett. Reopens up the well. GameScout has a dependency in column 3, but fills it in with a long bar. Not able to get a Tetris yet. Barrett's about a Tetris in the lead. Now these two are going to be going ahead and exchanging Tetrises and exchanging leads back and forth. 59,000 points for GameScout and 81,000 points for Barrett. GameScout's now set up to be Tetris ready, waiting for the long bar. Does some quick taps there to try to get that J over. Uh-oh, there was another drought both of them are experiencing. And GameScout's board is just not looking solvable right now. Overshifts a J there. Now needs to try to bring this down because that could almost be GG's for him. But is bringing it down. With that though, Barrett has been taking the 2 Tetris lead now. 78,000 points for GameScout and 156,000 points for Barrett. Barrett has been playing a little bit more efficient with that 51% Tetris rate versus a GameScout 17% Tetris rate. And another drought has been forming here. Let's see how both of them deal with it. GameScout deals with it perfectly fine, gets a long bar in the Tetris, so does Barrett. Both of them able to manage those, but now we're getting some early dash shifts again from GameScout. Is he able to bring this down and start scoring Tetrises? He did put a long bar all the way to the right, meaning that he's going to have to do some more burns to try to reopen up that well. Okay, GameScout had to put the square over there because did not want to make 2 long bar dependencies. And with that, he's just behind by about 4 Tetrises now. This is Scout's tournament life and on the line here. Okay, with that long bar, it was not a Tetris, but only a split triple. But now it got a Z, just starting to create more holes here. But it is starting to down stack this fine. They are about in the 77 line mark here, so transition again at 130 lines, so they're over halfway towards there. Looks like GameScout might be setting up for a row 1 dirty Tetris. Will he get the long bar? Has an LJ dependency. Now it's set up for a long bar. There it is, finally a Tetris for GameScout. 155,000 points for GameScout versus Barrett's 266,000 points. Barrett's winning by roughly 5 Tetrises. Uh-oh, but Barrett is experiencing a drought right now, and soon GameScout will be facing that same drought as well. Oh, there's a little bit of a spire of that J there. Oh, starting to spire his board, but it looks like he's trying to flatten it down for GameScout. There's a long bar in simul Tetris for GameScout and Barrett. Okay, 186,000 points for GameScout, 322,000 points for Barrett. We've just reached the 100 line mark, so that means transition is approaching very soon for both of them. Barrett trying to set up to be Tetris ready. There's a long bar, there's a Tetris. He's not looking happy with his board, but he was able to get a Tetris. But it does look like his board is a little spiky, a little bit dependent, while Scout's board is nice and flat, sloping left to right. The kind of board you want for an accommodating stack. Of course, we are experiencing another drought, but Barrett deals with it, so does Scout. 20 more lines until transition. Tetris for the GameScout, Tetris for Barrett. 243,000 points for GameScout. 372,000 points for Barrett. Barrett is about 5.5 Tetris in the lead now. Scout's having to take some burns. This is just probably going to extend the lead for Barrett. Barrett is here seated at number 6, while GameScout is seated at number 11. So he was second to the last in this one, but he's still showing that he could still hang with Barrett here. Transition is approaching. Tetris for GameScout. One more Tetris until transition for both of them. And it looks like GameScout is trying to set up for a Tetris. Oh, he is setting one up. Will the long bar show? He has only one more line into transition. 448 transition for Barrett. 299,000 point transition for GameScout. GameScout's gonna need to step the pedal to the metal now to try to win this game. But nice dusty Tetris there by GameScout. 324,000 points for GameScout. 454,000 points for Barrett. Barrett has more leeway to get out of 19 situations because he is a hyper tapper, whereas the dash limitations for GameScout is gonna have to make very efficient stacking here. Will he get? Oh no, his board's starting to look a little bit climbing up there. Okay, GameScout's gonna have to start down stacking. He's not set up to be Tetris ready yet, but has a long bar for relief there. Oh, GameScout is setting up for a dusty Tetris and gets it. 365,000 points for GameScout, 502,000 points for Barrett. Okay, but GameScout's board, nice and accommodating. Now it's set up to be Tetris ready. There's a long bar, there's a Tetris. 394,000 points for GameScout. GameScout's board slightly messy, so is a Barrett, but it looks like GameScout might be slowly catching up. Oh, but the left side, oh no, that might be GG's for GameScout. Where is this long bar? Gets it over, but I don't know if he's able to recover that board with that. So at 515, or at 519 points, Barrett takes game number 4 and the match. GG's, GG's.
McLovin and Aaron Eduardo to station 6. Station 6. McLovin and Aaron Eduardo to station 6.